There is a game I have been wanting to play for 5 years now, and I was looking for the perfect time to do it. That game is called Journey, and one fateful night I felt like now is the right time to do it. I pressed X on the controller, I was ready to get mesmerized by the barren yet beautiful landscape, I was ready to slide on golden waves, I was ready to meet a fellow traveler, I was ready to hide from danger, I was ready to struggle, I was ready to ascend. I did. The game lasted an hour. It was a bittersweet resolution. 5 years I've been waiting for this hour, and now it's over. Yes, the game did not make me feel full, but it did make me feel content. And I haven't felt content with a video game for some time now. Let's think about this. A 1-hour game about climbing a mountain felt more fulfilling than 30 hours of any AAA game which has 30 different characters and 30 different landscapes. Question is, why? Why do we love a good Ascension premise? And why is our society built around this idea of things going up, of us going up? This question ignited a train of thought that led me to directions I never expected. And no, it's not up, I wouldn't make such a terrible joke. Let's do some case analysis. Part 1. Ascension in media. Before we jump into the abstract, let's ground ourselves with the familiar. Video game developer Naughty Dog, since the PS3 era, has been praised for their game's addictive pacing and ways of communicating to the player where to go next without the use of markers or waypoints that would break immersion. Camera movement, color, character animation, and the environment operating as arrows in the skies were used to great effect. But the method that always stood out to me was the, hey, look at that tall, imposing building, we're heading there. By drawing the player's attention to a distant landmark, it created a natural sense of purpose and direction. There's this human urge to reach the peak of something. So when the player manages to get there, they're not only rewarded by reaching the next point of the story, but they are also rewarded by beautiful scenery and a chance to metaphorically catch their breaths. If you ever reach the top of a castle, or even better, a mountain, you should already feel what I'm trying to communicate. But let's be honest, most of you probably never leave the house. Even though the promise of a high point works enough as it is, nothing communicates that the epilogue is coming than reaching the top of something. So the theme of Ascension not only works as something to tantalize, but also as a crescendo to a story.
My vengeance ends now.
That is why this idea has been used again and again and again to signal finality, the last boss fight, the end of an era. A journey to reach the peak of something, the struggle to get there, and the resolution that comes from reaching it. Ascension as a theme is simple yet profound. A point A to a point B. Add to that color or the use of light, and you have communicated to the viewer more about the world they will soon inhabit than any opening narration could ever hope to achieve. Your brain probably already served you a moment like that, given that you can hear my angelic voice and my top-tier matching footage is playing in the background. And if you think that the theme's influence stops on the media you consume, you will be surprised. The real question is, why does the theme permeate so many aspects of our lives? Part 2. Ascension in religion. Why would religion use the theme of ascension? Well, it's simple. People always saw reaching high as being closer to something powerful, escaping the chains of earth, transcending. The Greeks believed our gods resided on the top of the mountain Olympus. To reach the peak is not only to be with the gods, is to become one. Yes, I will milk the mountain symbolism to the last drop, ladies and gentlemen. It comes to no surprise that so many religions chose this imagery of ascension to capture our collective imagination, with the peak being an afterlife full of rewards. You just need to subscribe to a moral and epistemological system and not question it. That's easy, right? So even though religion was very effective at exploiting our need for ascension, it failed, and it will keep failing for one simple reason. Nowadays, people don't have the patience for an afterlife reward. They want their rewards now, and they want it fast. Ain't nobody got time to climb mountains. So who is using the Ascension theme now How does the mountain look nowadays? The mountain has never been easier to climb, but it has also never been this tall. And that leads me to the final piece of this puzzle. Part 3. Social Ascension. The reason this theme works in video games as well as religious PR is simple. Humans are built to desire social ascension. Another statement that would raise no eyebrows is that a significant portion of the population is addicted to social media. There's an allure to receive validation from random strangers. We seek more likes, more hearts, more comments. And that is to be expected. We are social animals after all. As much as we try to be individuals, our happiness is dictated by others. Aristotle said that to live alone, one must be either a beast or a god, meaning we are built to be part of a community. Combining that fact and the fact that the internet started to connect us in ways we never thought before, while also hijacking our primitive brains, and suddenly we escape the claws of the ascension promise made by religion, we now have many different mountains by many different messiahs. Or in other words, we have many social media platforms and many influencers. Influencers are supposed to be the people on top in terms of economical and social status. Or they need to appear as if they are. Because reality does not matter, only perceptions. Wait, this line is not mine. Where did I steal this from? Game of Thrones? So basically influencers have made it to the top of the mountain that we all strive to reach. If you don't think influencers are using the Ascension theme to motivate our actions, you only need to take a short look at today's politics. Even presidents are influencers now. I don't need to argue to you why the phenomena of influencers is corrosive. You have seen enough Black Mirror episodes. But after thinking about it for some time, I couldn't escape what seems to be a necessary positive side effect of having Ascension theme advocates, and that is that they act as proving case for the feasibility of reaching that mountain peak. It seems crucial for people to believe that upwards mobility, social ascension, is achievable. When people lose faith in social mobility, history suggests that unrest follows. So to connect everything, while influencers are now repackaging the ascension promise, and so their existence keeps us motivated to ascend, the issue with that is that it completely blinds us to the question of what is at the top, and if indeed we all have the same chances to get there. But how can we distill what is good about the ascension theme while removing all that is rotten after decades of misuse? Part 4. Salvaging Ascension. Why should we try to salvage the Ascension theme? In the end of the day, it's just a story with symbolic meaning, right? Like, we have plenty of those. Well, even though stories and symbols are not true or tangible like mountains are, they still have the power to make humans move them. Depending on the intention of the storyteller, we might get wonderful things or outright atrocities when we use these powerful stories. Math didn't create the atomic bomb. A very bad use of a story did.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Furthermore, Dostoevsky, as well as many other writers, have advocated that people need to believe in something greater than themselves. Failing to do so will lead to people falling in despair. That is the hole that Ascension, like many other such stories, seem to fill in. Could our fascination with Ascension stem from millions of years of evolution, where our ancestors benefited from climbing tall structures? Or maybe our fascination with the sun and the endless unknown of the sky was begging to be combined with a rulebook to make our primal worries about death and uncertainty easier to cope with. Perhaps Ascension gained significance during times of rigid social hierarchy, when kings live high above and peasants in the slums, making the dream of rising in status a necessity to have something to motivate people to wake up the next day. Whatever it is, we can agree that Ascension, like most human desires that are being expressed through stories and symbols, can lead to corruption if we lose sight of our humanity along the way. The best way to achieve Ascension is to never forget where we came from. Yes, from down there. And of course, to never forget the people that we are doing the climb with. Because quite possibly, at the peak of the mountain, we will not find apotheosis. But hopefully, during the journey, we found some good people to share the next adventure with. Please subscribe, because I never post. See you in the next one. Bye.